What's going on, guys? Evil Dragon here, and I apologize for this video not being up earlier. I wanted to try and get this video up Christmas Eve or Christmas Day, and due to it just constantly having an uploading error, I kept removing clips from it to see if I could upload even a smidge of it to then edit, the second half. It would not allow me to. And this is such a big video because it was my only challenge video I had recorded for these 10 days to the end of the year. And the challenge is, can you beat Stellar Blade using only the gun? And while I know the answer, if it's possible, if it's not possible, if it's somewhat possible, we're going to find out still together, or at least all of you are going to find out. So that's the question I went in, and here's a little demonstration of the hard mode difficulty using the gun. Yeah, you basically do no damage, and so I am going to be doing this playthrough on normal mode, as well as New Game Plus. The reason why, if you do the game normally without New Game Plus, you get the gun a lot later, after the first main boss, the main Alpha Natiba. Whereas if you play the game on New Game Plus, you get the gun right after the tutorial mission, which is where we're going to start the challenge. Meaning we have to go through the entire tutorial as the game starts with our sword, but again, that's okay because we're going to use the same rule as Pokemon Nuzlocke, where the challenge doesn't start until you get Pokeballs. Same thing here. Challenge doesn't start until we get the gun. So yeah, we're going to go right off, starting in, going through the entire tutorial. We see our beloved commander Tachy die to this weird creature, this Elder Natiba, and then we get saved by Adam, where, don't mind the goofy skin for him, it's the Nier Automata DLC skin. That's why he looks a little bit different than this. Anyway, so we get saved, and we start making our way through the first area, the Silent Street area. The goal is this: we're now working together. He said he would take us to the Alpha Natiba if we take him to the Hyper Cell. Eventually going through this area and fighting through an ambush where my drone would not stop scanning, so eventually I just had to wait until it stopped scanning to actually get the gun back. We make it to the first boss. And now the first boss is a cakewalk. We're going to continue talking about the build here now. The build was pretty much enhancing all the damage, and then the Eagle Eye Exospine thing, which increases our ammo capacity from 50 slugs to 58 slugs, 8 explosive shells to 11 explosive shells. I believe it's 12 buckshot to 16 buckshot, 32 homing stainer missiles to 37, 3 blaster cells to 5 blaster cells. It's not a bad add-on, and then we went with the add-on to help us dodge more because, like the challenge applies, only gun, we can't parry. We can only dodge. Same with the moves that are blinks or the repulses, which is where you kind of zoom around someone and do a hit with the sword, or you kind of kick them back. We can't do that at all. We can only use the gun, meaning we're having to constantly dodge attacks and whatnot, and we'll get more into the insta-kill moves later, but those require only using the gun, and because we have such a limited amount of ammo, that's why I wanted to do this challenge after all. So we beat the first boss, and you may notice you have to do like a quick time event with L1, and I do it. Does that mean we lose the challenge because we use our sword? No. Because if you see here on this next box, where to double check, if you don't actually hit the quick time event, which is a triangle for the main bosses, not these side bosses, or L1 for, again, these side bosses, then you just get kicked out and the boss gets a little bit more health back and to continue fighting it. So no matter what, you have to beat it with the sword by, again, doing the quick time event. Again, some people might think that we lose the challenge, and that's fair. But I'm going to consider it kind of like the Red Dead Redemption 2 challenge I did, ironically, last year around this time, which is where at some points it just forces you into using a sniper or a specific gun, and you can't do anything about that. Same thing here. To progress the story, it forces you to have to do this. So, again, that's more of a game detail rather than the challenge failing, is what I would say. Anyways, we continue here after beating the first boss, and we find the first hypercell, which Adam says will be important, but more on that later. After that, we fight a couple more bosses and make it to the construction zone, which is where I hit my first camp. Now, we've passed a couple camps at this point, but I'm going to talk about camps for a second, because that's how you get your ammo back. And obviously right now, with how low and weak health all these enemies are, we don't have to hit these camps as often. Become the, really late game, middle game, we have to be hitting the camps almost every time we come across one, because we use so much ammo to fight all the enemies, even the common ones around the map. Anyways, we make it to the first Alpha Natiba, which is called Gigas. No, it's not the Earthbound boss. But regardless, it's a cakewalk. We beat it. It honestly doesn't have that much health for being the first major boss. But we take it down and we meet Lily, a trapped member of the previous airborne squad unit, and she becomes our new engineer. This is how you get upgrades, and this is where, again, after you just beat this boss, she upgrades your drone, giving you the gun if you don't play New Game Plus. So, with this, Adam asks us to help him look for more hypercells, and in turn, he'll help us look for more Alpha Natibas. We agree, and so he takes us to the last bastion, the last city of humanity, known as Zion. He says there's a guy here named Oracle who will help us locate these Alpha Natibas with the use of the hypercells that'll upgrade his power link. So we go down, talk to this Oracle, and first again, he has us put this hypercell into this machine, and turns out with all these humans being evolved, again, they don't need food to survive, they need energy, power. This hypercell being put into this machine brings energy to thousands and thousands of people. That's why when we first enter Zion, it looks desolate, and when we leave the little chamber here, there's actually people walking around for once. Regardless, this all happens, and he says, I don't have enough energy yet to go ahead and locate the next Alpha Natiba. Find another hypercell in Altus Lavar. So we head out to the wasteland, and we head all the way down here to this place, and the person guarding this dungeon says we have to fight her to make sure we're ready enough, because everyone who goes down there dies. So we take her down relatively easily, and this entire next part of the game is a gun-only section, meaning we only have to use a gun. That's the challenge. Not too bad. We clear it out, beat the boss, and get the next hypercell, heading all the way back to Zion, to where we give the hypercell over to Oracle once again, and now he has enough for his neural link to go ahead and locate the next Alpha Natiba, which is in this place, Matrix 11. We head out there, we again go in by ourselves, taking out all these enemies, fighting a bunch of different bosses, including the demo boss, if you play the demo to get a feel of the game. We come across one of my favorite spots in the game, which is where it just says, hey, take a moment, take a break, and look at how beautiful this game is. Look at how nice we made this game. I always like that when games do that. Not a lot do that, but this is the one that comes to my mind. But eventually we make it to the next Alpha Natiba, where it's Tachy. That's right. Somehow after Tachy was apparently killed and they took her body, they turned her into an Alpha Natiba. And this is where, when you beat her, there we go. Sorry, Tachy. Which we do after the second phase. She wasn't too bad. Definitely a little bit tougher and definitely getting low on bullets here. But regardless, we beat her. You unlock the Tachy mode, which is kind of like a Juggernaut mode where you get infinite health. Besides, if you use it during an insta-kill, move. You get infinite health. You just do a ton of damage. It's kind of your point to fight a boss and just lay into it as much as you can before it runs out. Now, spoiler alert, if we make it that far to the end, we have to choose the bad ending. And it's because if we choose the good ending, for the last quarter of the fight, it forces you into this Juggernaut mode, meaning that you can't use the gun. But if you choose the bad ending, you can only use the gun for that, so that's why we have to choose the bad ending. Regardless, we kill Tachy, say our goodbyes, and put her memories into the stars. Heading back with the new Alpha Core, Oracle says he needs another hypercell to find the next Alpha Natiba, so we head out to Abyss Lavar. We head out there, fight the Guardian, and go into the dungeon-like place again, where in this area, it's another gun-only challenge, so we make it to the exact same boss, take down the boss, grab the hypercell, and make it back to Zion, which, after upgrading Oracle's link again with the hypercell, he locates the next Alpha Natiba, the third one, which is at the top of the space elevator. So, me, Lily, and Adam head out there, only to find out something's happening in Zion and Adam has to leave. So with Lily as our guide, we make it through and eventually go to this awesome part, one of the best parts because of the music, and it's just a lot of fun. You go into this hyper tube, which is kind of like a mini game for this part. It's only this section of the game. But you kind of zoom through this part, and we get attacked by a boss. After fighting it and getting it down to about half health, it runs away. And then it comes back later, and we have to fight it 3 times in a row because it regenerates itself. And I was nervous for this fight. I knew this fight was coming up. And after fighting it for the first few stages, I really didn't think I was going to have enough ammo. But luckily, we clutched up, got to this railgun part, where after the third phase, we take it down. But that really seemed to use up a lot of our own life body cell energy. But at the end of the day, the boss was defeated, and Eve is still okay to continue on. We head up this space elevator to the next eventual boss, which is where we learn that Natibas apparently are getting smarter because it targets the drone. And this entire boss fight, we have to use our sword. So again, I'm going to do similar to the Red Dead Redemption 2 missions, where in that we tried to only use the Cattleman revolver. It just forces you into missions to using the sniper rifle, or different revolvers, or different guns. And so with this, because our drone straight up is targeted and taken down, we cannot use the gun. We have to do this entire boss fight with the sword. And if you want to consider that losing the challenge, that's fine. But I'm going to consider, again, part of the game design, and I'm going to continue on afterwards. Beating this boss, our drone's back up, so we know we have the gun again for the next boss, which is the Alpha Natiba. We fight this thing, it's very hard, having actual multiple phases. Again, another boss. These later bosses start to have more phases than the earlier ones, but we take it down. Only to discover no Alpha Core, which is when there it is, the real Alpha.
The real Alpha.
It's freaking massive. Yeah, the real Alpha Natiba. It's covering the orbital elevator. Now, obviously, due to gravity, we start heading down to Earth, and so we have a limited time to beat it. Now, this boss fight, while being very cool, very visually appealing, and the music is outstanding, it's a little bit fast, too fast for me, because all you do is you shoot the weak points and then shoot the main eye, which, again, when you beat it here, it looks absolutely outstanding. It's just a little bit fast. I wish we could have done a lot more to fight this thing, but whatever. We take down this Alpha Natiba, but because we're in space, we lose the Alpha Core. We can't grab it at all, so we miss out on the final one. And of course, gravity is a big issue at this point, and due to us using the railgun to, again, deplete our body cell energy, we're just falling to space. But thankfully, we got close enough to the colony, which is where everyone comes from space, and Lily sent out a message to Mother Sphere, which I haven't mentioned at this point, but that's like our god, and Mother Sphere sent out a kind of mech suit to save us and take us back down to Earth. Lily meets up with us where our bodysuit is relatively damaged, we're still alive. And now we have to head back to Zion because we know according to Adam something was happening there, and so we might as well head back there now with nothing else. We head back and it's a disaster. Breaking in to try and find where Oracle is to make sure he's okay, only to find out that his bodyguard was taken down by the same creature that attacked Tachy. So we fight it, taking her down. She's a very tough boss, including this is where the insta-kill moves come into play. Which, if you don't shoot the insta-kill moves, you die, but due to these WB pumps, we have at least 2 lives, and so can survive 2 insta-kill moves. Again, like I said, we take her down, only to reveal it's Raven. Now, I haven't mentioned really anything of the big story twist up to this point, including Raven, but throughout the game, you discover these little legacies that she's left behind. Learning that what we actually are, we're not humans. We're not evolved humans. We're robots, or android ADOS, which is what they called. Mother Sphere, who I just mentioned, is an actual AI overlord, not a god. And what this AI overlord did is realize that we're evolving a lot faster, her creation, these android ADOS, and so she decided it was best to use a war and destroy all of the real organic humans. However, with the last few humans deciding to run away, they transformed themselves to become stronger, but they lost all their humanity, they mutated, they became the Natiba. So what the original story, what we thought, was we're coming here to save the humans and destroy the aliens. We're actually android ADOS, robots, trying to take down the original humans who, again, have mutated into the Natiba. It's a crazy plot twist, but why Raven's like this? Well, she's been captured by the other Natiba, clearly gone insane by, according to her, his beauty, and so that's why she kind of went to that Natiba hybrid, fought us, we take her down, so she's now outside of that Natiba hybrid, but she's still nuts as she escapes. We go forth, finding Oracle, who's dying, but this is where he tells us he's also the very first Natiba and Android ADOS hybrid, and he gives us an Alpha Core, so it turns out he's actually the Alpha Natiba. When the 4 Alpha Cores combine, we get the Master Core. I was going to make a joke about the Infinity Gauntlet, because I made it last time, we collect all these things and we get the power, but I guess I already made the joke, there you go. With this, we use the Master Core to go head out and search for the Elder Natiba nest, which we go ahead and do. It leads us right there, but one thing that's still in the back of my head, where is Adam? He was never in Zion. whatever. We make it to the Elder Natiba nest, but Raven's there once again, not in her Natiba Android ADOS hybrid, but just her regular Android ADOS body. She starts talking about how she's devoted so much of her life to his cause and that he chose us, Eve, over her. And she starts giggling to herself, rambling on, so we have to fight her. And we almost lose. Once again, she doesn't have any insta-kill moves, she's just very powerful. But we almost run out of bullets, but again, we beat her on the first try. I actually haven't died so far to any boss. We haven't died at all, period, this entire playthrough. I never mentioned it up to this point. I'll just say it. We did it here on twitch.tv/evildragon. But yeah, we never died, and we got really close to losing here. But again, with the last few bullets, we were able to defeat her. We go ahead and with the finishing blow, using the sword in the cutscene, whatever, it doesn't lose the challenge. We cut her arms off, but decide to leave her alive so she can watch what happens, and that makes her go ballistic. But we break into the Elder Natiba nest and find the Elder Natiba, and it's Adam.
Look who it is.
Yeah. When he left, maybe it was for him to stop Raven somehow, or maybe it was for him to send Raven out to attack Zion, who knows. But Adam is the real human, the real Elder Natiba, and he asked us one thing, to join him. That's the good ending, though, like I mentioned before, where it'll permanently put us into, in the final quarter of the battle, the Juggernaut mode. So, we go against him. We fight him where he keeps trying to talk to us, but eventually he realizes it's useless, and so he goes into his Elder Natiba form. And it's a hard battle. I end up dying twice, using the WB pumps both times to revive, because again, you have to take those down using the bullets. We don't get bullets back at all. So it's kind of risky to go ahead and stop the insta-kill move, so I just let it kill us. But again, we can't come across a third one, otherwise we do die. But we barely have enough ammo, and again, I'll point back to the very start of the video where I showed the hard mode, how tough that would be. Impossible. But we just barely have enough ammo, and we take him down. Meaning that, yes, you can beat Stellar Blade using only the gun. Again, not on the hardest difficulty, but that's because that's impossible. On the normal difficulty, it is possible. Doing this, we take him down, killing him, and then Mother Sphere comes down to Earth, picks me and Lily up, and it says, Eve's story will continue. That's for both sides. I do have a future Stellar Blade challenge that I want to do, which would definitely be possible in hard mode, just very, very tough. So let me know what you all want to see if you want to see that happen. But this is my first Stellar Blade challenge, and without further ado, hope you guys did enjoy nonetheless. Maybe leave a like, maybe leave a nice comment down below, maybe hit that subscribe button, hit that little bell, and we're coming up to the end of the year, so be prepared for the final video of the year tomorrow. And I'll see you guys next time. Bye-bye.